Alright, so once again, I do need to point out, although I am not affiliated with Szco nor any of the knife works inside, and I have not been paid by them to make any statements or any reviews, I am affiliated with Ziggy's West. We do sell these products for a profit, and so therefore there is a conflict of interest that you should keep in mind when we review these products. Alright, the big box!
This is obviously the biggest box of the 3 boxes we got from Szco. It contains the all-important invoice, which tells me what I got and how much I paid for it. Wow.
Which, you don't get to see that. You can look at this
wooden
rather
important
instead.
Because that way,
I'm also not showing you some magnets in case there's any copyrighted material.
Now, among other things, you know, we saw the stork scissors, we got those, both boxes of them. Then a medieval lord's dagger, we got those, both of them. The royal dagger, or excuse me, 6 of the medieval daggers. We got the 6 royal daggers we were expecting to get. The double dragon journal you saw, the goddess journal you saw, the skulls journal you saw. So those 3 journals we know we got. What we're looking for, also the checkerboard, as they were referred to, both blue and red clip grades in a basic knife and a rescue style. So now we're looking for the balance of the journals. We're looking for, we've already seen the tactical ninja sets, and we're looking for some what they call dead walker skull knives, and that should be that, which is interesting because I could swear I ordered a couple of rapiers and it doesn't look like they came. We shall see.
Alright.
Once again, the all-important knife to open the box.
Alright, we actually have some additional cardboard packaging here.
And,
or no, this might be our first product.
well, this is another box they gave to me. This could be the first of the 2 rapiers, which I was expecting a couple of rapiers. And I may have missed them when I read the invoice. It's easy to do.
Oh, we put the rapier on top of the knife.
Let's find out, shall we? Ah, yes.
Give me a moment, Dad.
This is precisely one of the rapiers I ordered.
Ah, yes.
Set this up here.
I'm familiar with this piece.
They're very pretty. They're meant to be very pretty. They're what I call a double ring slut hilt, because essentially what you have, besides the all annoying styrofoam, is you have the knuckle bow portion here, single ring here, second ring here, and of course your quillins or cross guards, followed by the lower portion. So the double ring. Wire wrapped, slightly wire wrapped grip, but this is actually a soft plastic, which is rather nice in the hand. Oops. We're doing this in the kitchen, which means we're going to get interference from other portions of it. Now this says stainless, and it's entirely possible that this is stainless, but it's either high polished stainless or it's chromed, in addition to being stainless. Stainless, of course, by definition contains chrome, quite a bit of it, but that doesn't mean they can't chrome plate it. Now, what did they really do? I don't know, but it looks to me to be either extremely high polished or chromed. Again, this one does not have an edge. These don't usually come with an edge, not this company. If we had gotten this through Kesan Wei, aka Paul Chen, they would have been edged and probably a lot more balanced, because this feels, you know, just a little top heavy. That's my opinion. Someone else
don't sheaf.
might have a different opinion. Give me a second. I will let you camera and draw, and then you can.
All right. So here's a better look at this blade, and again, you can see our stamps. Well, you might not be able to see the stamp with how reflective this blade is. You can actually see the camera in the reflection, but it shows that this is stainless out of China. Now, in my opinion, China is not known for very good quality stainless steels. Now, that doesn't actually affect much in the way of a sword, especially a sword like this, because this falls under the category of a costume piece. A rapier has to have a certain amount of flex to it, and this rapier does have some flex, but the simple fact is that stainless will have a tendency to snap instead of give when it comes to actual combat use. Now, I do like the fact that they changed, this is a plastic wrapped handle. It actually does feel fairly comfortable in the grip. I would still recommend having a gauntlet for using a grip like this. And of course, you can also loop the one finger there if you so choose, if that is your preferred style. And yeah, that definitely makes the balance a lot better. But again, I would mostly consider this to be a costume piece. Now, my father is saying that this is either polished or it is plated in chromium. I'm going to suggest another possibility. I think they might have cased this in a higher chromium content to make it easier to polish to a shine, because I don't think that this is plated. That is just an intuitive. I'd actually have to like perform some tests in order to know what the exact type of stainless this is, as well as how they have hardened, flexed it, etc. But my guess is that this is either just a very high chromium content stainless that they have polished very high, or they treated it so that it would have a higher chromium content in the case, thus making it easier to polish and make it much shinier. So, let me see if I can. And we do generally like to do two-man for these rapiers, because occasionally we have had incidents in the past where people were one-manning it, the scabbard folded over the tip, and the scabbard was damaged. So again, this is not a functional piece like you could expect from Kesan Wei or Paul Chen. Sorry, Chen, I believe is how it's pronounced. Paul Chen. I think that is the C-H-E-N and not the Z, or sorry, not the X. But anyway,
I'm going to put this over here.
So this is definitely costume piece material, and it's a very pretty costume piece material. And especially with a lot of people at conventions going for a more steampunk look, more kind of like pirate, Age of Sail kind of appearances and Victorian appearances, the rapier looks a lot better on a more of those costumes. And then this is rapier number 2.
We're not going to open that one.
Yep, that'll be the one will be our display model, and then the other will be the one that the customer actually.
The rest of the journals.
Okay, so we have one last model of the journal at the very least, if not 2.
Let's take a look. Yeah, this looks like we probably have only one left, maybe a couple of extra of one of the ones we've already seen.
Okay, so let's take a look at what this design is. All right, so right now we're
familiar with the Blue Man group. Well, this is supposed to be the Green Man.
Yes.
I believe played by Sean Connery in one movie.
Yes, this is I believe not I know the name of this deity, but this is a deific figure. This is a deific figure from Druidism, if I remember, that has been adopted by many cultures. It's even been put into like fantasy games like D&D. Again, now we've definitely got the Celtic knotwork here, and this is very appropriate for this kind of deity. But this is a nature deity, and again, the name just escapes me. It's been used in fantasy before, but I can't remember it off the top of my head, and I feel embarrassed for that because I should know better. I should know my fantasy. But yeah, that is a design I actually much prefer. It is still not my favorite of the journal designs that I've seen that we have carried, but I prefer that design to the ones we've opened for these 3 boxes. All right,
and
now
one ending in 589.
589. 589. Packaging. 589.
I have 4. How many do you have?
I've got, this is going to be 6 for me. 589.
Probably. I wonder how I wound up with 14 of these. Could be that they substituted when, and that happens, they may have substituted if one of the journals, there weren't enough of them. You know.
So right off the bat we can see we've got more pieces divided into rainbow and black, and I'm pretty sure I know what these are.
Rainbow. Black.
And another ceiling tile gets hit.
Okay, what do I do with the knife?
I've got it over here.
Oh, okay. Molto grazie. Essentially, you're about to see a couple more ninja swords, double-edged. Which one's black? Okay. Each in a nice scabbard, and I do like the riveted scabbards for strength. I do like the fact that the sword only goes down so far. With some of the tips that they have, can easily pierce this nylon scabbard. Once again, you have the throwers. This is a slightly different style.
This is a much more classic design, and the balance is exactly where it needs to be.
And of course the sword itself.
And of course another ceiling tail.
When will I learn?
Alright. So, this is a much more simple cousin of the piece we looked at in the last video. As you can see, the blade is nice and simple. It's once again that one-piece steel construction. Again, stainless steel, so you need to be careful about kind of impact that you make on it. Now, has this one been shipped with a functional edge?
Yes.
Okay, so this is edged and tipped. Okay, and again, wrapped in parachute cord for the grips, all one-piece construction. This is the one that I prefer as far as the blade is concerned. However, I am not without my complaints for this piece. If you look at this parachute cord handle, you'll notice that the diameter of the wrapping is pretty uniform. Okay, it's a little bit thinner along this edge than it is along this in this direction, but not thin enough. The problem with that is that if you've got a wrapping that's too uniform, first you can see, now I don't have small hands, and I'm having trouble getting a full grip on this. Okay, a full comfortable grip. All right. The other problem is when you've got a handle that's been wrapped this uniformly, it could have a potential to turn in your hand as you were striking.
And slip.
Yep. Or slip out of your hand or something like that. So you don't want that. So whereas the previous piece we looked at in the last video had too little cord on the grip, it didn't have enough cord in order for it to be an effective grip and comfortable grip, this one has too much cord.
Actually, it's it's even more misleading than that, because while there is definitely at least one full wrap of cord there, beneath this on both sides is a plastic inset around which the cord is wrapped to give you the grip that you now have. The problem is, as Jason has stated, now you got too much grip. In one case you didn't have enough, now you've got too much. That, as in the one that didn't have enough, is a little easier to fix than this, because you'd have to start from the beginning, completely unwind this, and then remove those two insets, and then rewrap using nothing but cord. So and that's entirely up to the customer as to how they want to treat that.
So again, we're not expecting people to actually be using these to
but for
run
20
around.
bucks.
You know, we're not expecting any real ninjas to emerge from this. Again, unless you've been to Mount Midoriyama. That's not obviously why we're selling these. But again, when something is marketed as a functional piece, we want it to be a functional piece. And so when it has these things that prevent it from having true function, then we need to identify it to you as the customer. Now, again, it's kind of weird, because it's like, if you remember from the last video, I don't like that blade design. I don't like that blade design from the last video one bit. You know, I don't like the design of the throwers. I don't like the design of the weird catching false serrations. But this is a much more classic design. It's more simple. It's more elegant. It's a much more functional design. And I really like this design. They just ruined it with a bad handle.
And again, we're back to taste the rainbow.
Yep. Because, of course, every ninja must have rainbow weapons. How better to be stealthy and blend in when you are trying to slay ponies in Ponyville? It's like the old jokes for Diablo 3 when people were joking about it looking too bright and colorful. It's like, yeah. And again, it's like, if this is your taste, if you really think this is a cool look, and again, you put this on a wall under the right lighting conditions, and this is going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous piece for display. This is going to be very, very eye-catching. But this is marketed as a functional piece, and why would you have a functional, quote-unquote, ninja sword?
Unless you had a target in Candyland. Or Ponyville.
Yeah.
Or you were doing something with the Mario Brothers.
Yeah. And again, I should also point out, these are marketed as ninja swords, but although this design here actually does resemble blade designs that you can find in Japan, it is still not what most would associate as a classic blade design from that time period or from that culture. So it's literally, they're more marketing it as a ninja sword to say it's, to have that appeal, that aesthetic of it's a ninja sword. But I just prefer, I personally just prefer to refer to them as tactical swords, which is what they are.
And that wascally waps that.
Yep. This is kind of disappointing for the last big box, although you can see we do have plenty of those more slimmed down sword designs. But yeah, that is the final box. But this is not the final video. We still have several weeks before the 74th Annual World Science Fiction Convention that we are currently stocking inventory for. So, we've got more shipments coming in, and I will be filming unboxings for all of those. Wait until you get to see the Wu Jiao shipment. I think that's going to be a treat for everyone. Alright, this is Divine Erdrick signing off from the Szco unboxing videos, and I will see you when the next shipment comes in.